Should you buy a house in 2022? That's the question on many people's minds who are looking to be able to get out of renting and get into buying a house. So let's talk about it. The benefits of buying in 2022. First off, rising prices could lead to equity in your home. So when you buy a house, and let's say you buy it for $400,000, and your housing market there in your particular city continues to rise as it has a lot here in the last couple years, then your equity or the amount of money that your house is worth is actually going to go up. And then if you were to ever sell the house, then you'd be able to get back more money and it would be a good investment, as it were. So that could be of benefit to you. Also, it's helpful that the amount that you're going to be paying every single month for that mortgage payment is fixed for your 30-year mortgage. So as long as you stick with a 30-year traditional mortgage, you're going to want to stick to that 30-year mortgage, and that's going to be fixed for the life of the loan. Whereas if you were renting, it's very likely that that rent payment can go up, as I've known some people's rent payment to go up several $100s over the last couple years. And this is likely to continue as inflation is at an all-time high for the last 40 years. This is going to impact the prices of everything except your mortgage payments, which will remain the same unless your taxes get to such a high extent that they need to up your mortgage payment. Next up, there are several benefits of owning your own home. First off, you can do with it as you please. You can put that really weird color paint on your wall. You can go ahead and fix up the basement and make it into whatever you want. I'm fixing up my basement right now and making it into an office and a guest room. That's something you're definitely not going to be able to do if you're renting. There are a lot of different options. You're also able to have a tax write-off from the payments that you make on your house. You can also use it to be able to build your credit as you're paying on that payment every single month. That's being reported to the credit bureaus that you're being consistent with that, and that's helping build your credit and make it even better every single month. You could have greater privacy from your neighbors if you have a single family unit and you have a little bit of space between you and your neighbors. Now you're not just in your apartment complex, your townhome or wherever it is. Now you have just a little bit more space between you and others if that's something of value to you. Now, what are the disadvantages of buying a house specifically here in 2022? Well, let me tell you, there are a number of disadvantages specifically when it comes to 2022, not when it comes to buying a home in general. First thing that you want to know is it's a really difficult market right now. Almost anywhere that you are, if you are going to try to purchase something, you're going to have to purchase against other people, and you're going to have to be competitive with your offer. This is starting to cool down now that we're here in May of 2022 and the interest rates are so high. You may have a hard time being able to purchase something without offering more than even the asking price. Now, though, a lot of people believe that you will be able to build equity, that your house will be worth more in, let's say, 2, 3, 5, 7 years from now. But the truth of the matter is your house may not be worth more again in 5 years as it is today. The housing market could potentially go down, or in your particular city, it could potentially go down. There are no guarantees as to what's going to happen in the housing market. You don't want to just imagine that the housing market is going to go up. It could potentially not move at all, or it could potentially go down in your particular market, which means all of that equity you are hoping to build is not built in your particular area. Now, one thing to note right now, the problem is that the housing market and the prices that sellers are asking for really hasn't caught up with the interest rate hikes. Now the interest rates are close to 6%, whereas before you could get an interest rate as low as 2.75% just a couple years ago when you were purchasing a home. This means that you're going to be paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars more every single month just for purchasing the same home. Not only that, that same home that you were going to buy a year ago, I've been looking at some of the same homes that would have sold for $150,000 are easily selling for $200,000. So you're paying $50,000 more potentially, depending on your own market. And not only that, but you're paying 3% more interest rate on that mortgage loan that you're going to have. So it's something that's making it harder and harder for buyers to be able to get into the market. Also, the experts are saying it is unlikely that there will be a housing crash. This is not the same kind of market that we had back in 2008 when the lending standards were very loose and people were getting loans if they were breathing. If you were just a breathing human being who was living on planet Earth, that you could get a loan. That's just not the case today. The lending standards now, they ask for so many things, and they're going to ask you for a lot of details. So it's not really the same kind of loose standards that they were having back in 2008. That's really not the same thing that we're looking at today. Also, the supply that we have, there is not a lot of supply of housing right now. And so if you're just hoping for a crash, it's possible that housing prices could come down, but the amount that you're paying for those housing, for a new mortgage on that house, may not actually be going down, because those mortgage rates almost every month right now seem to be going up higher and higher, where we are almost at 6% right now. And that is something that is likely to continue to get higher and higher as the year progresses. The bottom line is, what are you able to do? Is it a good time for you? Have you saved up money to be able to put down a good mortgage payment? Have you saved up money for expenses? When you buy that house and your AC unit goes out and you're hit with a $6,000 payment, then you have to pay for that. And yes, I'm a little bit salty about that, as I bought this place about a year ago and now our AC unit is broken. And so it's something that we're gonna have to pay $6,000 to get fixed. That's something you have to understand and you have to plan for. You really can't anticipate those things happening, but you have to have an emergency fund set aside to pay for that. Because if you were in an apartment complex and that were to happen, no skin off your back, you just tell the apartment complex, my AC unit's broken, please come out and fix it. Boom, they fixed it, and you know what? Your monthly payment for that rent isn't gonna go up until the next year when you have to re-sign up for staying there, and they may bump your rent then because of inflation or whatever the case may be. It may be the best bet to just save for the next year, to be able to get into a home and to have a little more cushion with your finances in case your AC decides to break when you first move in. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and check out this video, which I know you'll like, and I'll see you there.